Yes, it's Lagoon Radio. Good morning and welcome to the program State of the Nation, our political program on Lagoon Radio. Yes, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria and official radio of the Anglican Communion Diocese of Lagos. We are transmitting live from the Archbishop's Palace right here in Marina, Lagos. And it's a beautiful Thursday morning. Today, the 10th day of March 2022. I am Anosike Chimezie, welcoming you to the program. And yes, a lot has happened in the past few days, especially within the ranks of the ruling party, the APC. And this morning, we'll be looking at the APC and 2023 politics. Remember, you can download the app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. You can also follow us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's Lagoon Radio Nigeria. And of course, we are streaming live. And on Instagram and Twitter, it's Lagoonradio.Ng. You can also listen to us directly via the link www.lagoonradio.ng. And this morning, I have a friend of the house in the studio, Oluwatobi Ayola. Oluwatobi, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody listening to us. It's a pleasure to be here once again to talk politics.
Yes, looking at the turn of events, what do you make of the current situation of the ruling party, the APC?
Well, the current debacle besetting the ruling party is not unexpected. Is the reality of is the reality of politics, and the reality is politics is about interest, and of course, when people have to come together, you see clashing interest, conflicting interest, and importantly, it's a signal that every Nigerian should take seriously because it's setting the sort of standard to what we should be looking to as the election edges closer. Especially because, of course, the ruling party has largely they have the machinery to try and wrestle the power again and continue to steer the affairs of the country. And so it's something everybody should pay close attention to. Of course, I'm sure APC have seen what happened to PDP, and they will want the same thing to happen to themselves. So they'll be doing everything they can to stay in power. I think what's most significant for us is understanding where the interest lies, because politics is about the general interest of the people, but in most cases, especially the Nigerian atmosphere, what we have is individual interest, elitist interest, prevailing most of the time. And we see where that has led us as a country. It's gotten us nowhere. The country is experiencing, problems on every side. Insecurity is rife. Currently, there's the strike of the academic union. The doctors are always complaining. We're having brain drain on literally every sector. So there's need to get it right politically. And of course, we saw what happened in Lagos State a few days ago. There's so much unrest. We are still entangled in the fuel crisis. And so the need to set the right ball, on the floor as far as our political climate is concerned is more pertinent than ever. And that is why keen interest should be given to the way and manner the ruling party comports their activities as far as leadership is concerned. And it's important that we all pay close attention to it and, take major lessons and leanings from it as far as where, we want to bend as far as the 2023 elections and even the elections before that time are concerned, so that we don't make the same errors we've committed in the past 20 years or thereabout of civil rule.
And talking about making mistakes, looking at what is going on in the APC, are they making mistakes right now?
The thing is, we don't really have a standard as far as our politics is concerned. At the moment, we don't have a standard. So it's because if we want to say they are making mistakes, we are going to weigh them against the standard. And presently, the kind of politics we run is not about ideology. It's about the interest of certain persons. And of course, talking about progressive politics, then we'll now start talking about politics of ideology, which is currently not the case. So as far as whether or not there are mistakes, it's difficult to say, but we can understand exactly what is playing out, and that is that certain interest is clashing with others, and of course, at the end of the day, because when we talk about the democracy that we are looking to achieve, it's not just about the general election. The democracy starts from the grassroots. And because of the kind of politics we play, is a party politics, the political parties have a major stake as far as having the candidate to run for election is concerned. So there's so much interest. That's just the case. And each person is pushing for his own interest. And the question with democracy, the question is the interest of the public good. What are the issues that has to be addressed, and what party actually, have the foregoing to actually, bring the solution to such issues. But right now, the kind of politics we have is based purely on the interest of the elite. And as such, is the elite clashing against each other, and in most cases, they would have to make compromise in order to move forward. And so, like I said earlier, as far as mistakes is concerned, the standard that we have, or that has been in place for the past 23 years of the current civil rule is concerned, there has not really been a party that talks about the interest of the common good of the Nigerian dream, but certain people trying to wrestle power, zoning issues, all kind of interests as far as the politics is concerned, which are majorly about some individuals, certain individuals and groups, and not about the entire country. And it's something we have to deal with.
Okay, talking about something we have to deal with. The APC, they have fixed 26th of March for their National Congress. But looking at the turn of events, on Monday, the governor of Niger State, Bello, assumed office as the new chairman, caretaker committee. Housing Buni, the governor of Yobe State, who is out on medical trip. And looking at these events, do you still believe that March 26th National Convention can still work out?
Well, the reality is the party is trying to get things right. And that is why they try to seize the crisis as early as possible, knowing that if they don't, the chances of them, being able to meet their targets. And we have to understand that because of the complexity of running a national party, they have to, be able to stick to their calendars. Otherwise, they will fall short. And of course, we are aware of the different states that eventually they were not able to fill the, candidates for the elections, and because of that, they lost such areas and state elections. So they are trying to guard against that, and that is why before the president left, they they quickly ensured that somebody was, put there as a caretaker chairman at the moment to sort of rescue the situation and make sure that, of course, they can meet up with their timetable. But then it's not to hide away from the fact that there are other interests within the party that are trying to, struggle, that are making their own struggle so that their interests will also be adequately served. And that is where the tussle is at the moment. But there's no question that of course, we saw in the very short, very brief press briefing that the president made just before his travel, he clearly said that something happened, something had to have gone right for them to have effectively resolved power from the incumbent party at the time. If they could do it right then, they definitely can do it right again. So I believe that, because politics is also about compromise, I believe that eventually they will be able to settle things within themselves amicably. I saw the outline of the various offices that are going to be treated at the convention, and it's interesting how sensitive we are to zonal issues as far as the country is concerned. It's the reality of the politics we presently have now, and we have to deal with it. But then we expect that going forward will evolve to the level that we get away from the politics of zoning, we get away from the politics of interest, of religion, of ethnic, and all those things that have set us back. And we talk about the politics of a progressive politics, basically politics that is talking about empowerment, talking about poverty alleviation, talking about education, talking about serious and sustainable healthcare programs. We start talking about politics of merit, and at the moment, the reality is we are far from that. And and this is where I'm a bit critical. Had it been that the talk of the third force had been set on ground on time, I think this would actually sort of shake the polity within the APC better than it currently is doing. But because there is seemingly no ready third force element, APC and the PDP are still seemingly unsettled within themselves, because presently the signals they are sending to the country is that they don't really have a strong sense of direction as far as where they want to take the country is concerned, because if within themselves they are still having to deal with all sort of ulubalu. So it is where we are right now, and hopefully we can learn from it as much as possible.
Okay, if you listen to APC stalwarts and the rest of them, if you ask them, I want to throw the question to you. Look, in the past 7 years or thereabouts, and the previous 16 years we had under PDP, the APC members will tell you that the past 7 years has been better than the previous 16 years. Before we look forward to 2023, what we expect, how would you rate the performance of the APC, especially at the federal level, in the last 7 years?
The truth is, it is easy to be critical of this present time, to be honest with you. And, of course, the average mind would easily want something to fall back on. But the reality is, as terrible as this current administration may be, we are also suffering from the, gross mismanagement of the, about 16 years of the PDP administration. So we have to deal with that. But and that is where we need to get things right. The politics we should be talking about is solution. But I don't see. I'm gravely disappointed with the APC administration, because we all know what the problem is. We all know what the issues are. For instance, the healthcare system is terrible. But at the same time, we have a president that is currently on medical leave outside of the country. It doesn't speak well anywhere. It's insane. That's the reality. It does not make any sense, because the president is the chief image promoter of the country. Whatever we want the world to see of us, they should see in the president. And if the president is going for medical, leave outside of the country, there is no place in the world where I would expect them to take us serious. And to make matters worse, the medical system is currently crippled. We see the medical association, incessantly going on strike, trying to drive their interest to the government. And of course, the oil thing has been on for how many years, and we are still currently probably one of the worst cases as far as fuel scarcity is concerned. Ridiculous fuel hike prices. Like the scarcity is uncalled for, and we saw what started the whole scarcity. They're talking about the bad fuel. The same issues that we've experienced with the previous administration, we are still experiencing with this current one. And it shows that the APC do not seem to have learned or grapple with their core responsibility. What they actually, in the authority for is to solve the problems that have been lingering with the previous administration, but trying to compare themselves with what was happening before, it shows that they are incompetent as far as I'm concerned, because Nigerians want to see results. And as far as the result is concerned, we know all these things have been there before, but because of your gross inability to manage it, it's even looking that we are in far worse case than we've ever been. Of course, the inflation rate is ridiculous. The first scarcity even looks worse than it's ever been. And that is because, yes, the problem has been there, but the current one is doing no better. And because of that, I've always said that there's nothing like stagnancy. You're either going forward or going backward. So because of APC's inability to administer the issues rightly, we continue to go backward. And that is why it will seem that this current one is even far worse. But I wouldn't really say they are worse. I would just say they are not better off, in my own opinion.
Okay, you're still listening to State of the Nation, our political program on Lagoon Radio. We'll go on this short break. When we come back, we'll look at the way forward, the 2023. Remember, we are discussing the APC. Yes, the ruling party. Yeah, it seems to be like there's a crisis on that party right now. But we'll know that and more when we come back from this break. Keep listening to us. We'll be right back.
This is Lagoon Radio. This is Lagoon Radio.
Yes, sir. Nigeria is a great nation, and yes, together we'll build this nation and make it greater. Welcome back to the program. It's still State of the Nation, our political program on Lagoon Radio, your number one online gospel radio in Nigeria and the official radio of the Anglican Diocese of Lagos. We are transmitting live from the Archbishop's Palace right here in Marina, Lagos. Don't forget, download our app on Google Play Store and Apple Store. You can also, follow us on our social media platforms. Of course, we are streaming live on the Facebook app. Is www.lagoon www.facebook/lagoon and also on Twitter and Instagram we are very, very active. Instagram at Lagoonradio.Ng, Facebook Lagoon Radio Nigeria. That's where you can see us and enjoy all of our programs. And yes, Oluwatobi is here. We are looking at the APC and the 2023 politics. Now, looking forward to the 2023, do you believe that APC can retain the power in 2023? Of course, there have been issues surrounding the zoning and the rest of them. But APC, they are very confident that no matter whoever they put up there, that he will win the election in 2023.
I think there is no doubt in their intent to retain the central power, and of course, as the political delineation of the country, the central seat is very, very important for any party. So, as far as they are concerned, they are very much intent on retaining the power, and of course, the moves that they have made have been clear evidence of the intent, and that is talking about zoning the office to the southern part of the country. They have gross failure is the reason why they have to, of course, zone, especially this current administration, with a lot of wrong signals, to the Nigerian people, especially talking about marginalization, which shows how much the current administration has set us back. But for the gross maladministration of the current regime, I don't think if the current administration have done well as far as moving the country forward is concerned, the conversation would have been way more robust than it currently is. But because of the failure of the current administration, we are still entangled with the conversation of zoning, and that is where we are, and that's what we have to deal with. The office has been zoned to the south, while the chairmanship has been zoned to the northern region. And I saw the outline earlier, and I was just laughing that this is where this party has currently put the country. It's not fair, to be honest. It's not fair because the parties have not done well for the country. At this century of course, economic and technological development, the conversation should be more robust on talking about issues, talking about solutions, talking about creativity and all. But we are still entangled with conversations that are so way backward. And it's going to be a challenge for APC itself, no question. And I think the fact that they also, the electoral act was eventually passed is a very, very good one for the country, and it's going to put the APC on the edge to make sure that they put out their best foot as far as the election is concerned. But like I said in previous times, that I'm earnestly looking forward to a robust debate at the primary level. We really need it, a debate that deals with the issues in the country, because we need intellectuals. There's no denying that we need intellectuals. The world has gone too far for us not to have a president that can stand, among the committee of leaders and represent the country well. Currently, I remember watching, what's it called, during Donald Trump's administration. I remember watching the meeting between the two leaders, and it didn't impress me. It didn't impress me at all, because the posture of our president falls short in many ways, and so it falls back to us to make sure that the kind of president we'll be looking forward to should be, of course, someone that will take us to the next level. And by next level, we are talking about personality, we are talking about exposure, we are talking about his interests. You are talking about the health, everything that have set us back as far as our political conversation is concerned. We shouldn't be going, around the same circle, and that is the reason why I'm hoping as much as possible that members of APC especially will do their utmost best to make sure that the best is gotten out of the convention, and of course build up to the primaries, that we can have a strong, robust debate among the candidates. I'm hoping, even though that is what the signals that we are seeing or receiving from the party is, that they may likely have a consensus candidate. I'm hoping that will not be the case, because it's going to be a great injustice to the country for us not to see the strength in depth as far as APC candidacy is concerned. If there's a debate among the candidates, then we can see for ourselves, even right from within APC, how strong they are in terms of membership. And it's going to set the standard for the country, for the rest of the parties, in terms of how to actually, play their game within their, of course, at their party level. And it's going to be a massive difference for the entire country for us to have APC setting the pace as far as the kind of, electoral system that will be that will play out.
Looking at all you have said, and the kind of personality we need in that 2023, a lot of names have popped up within the ranks of the APC. Is there anyone you are rooting for inside in those names that we've heard in the past few days?
I think I'm sure of Orochas. I'm sure of Ashiwaju, but I can't really remember any other name right now. But okay, I think the Kogi State governor also has thrown in his towel. I don't think talking about, except for Ashiwaju, even though as far as I'm concerned, by reason of health, he should not be coming forward. But there's no playing down what he has done for the political arena. He's been a massive influence. There's no doubt. But aside him, that's as far as those that have shown interest is concerned. Aside him, I don't think I'm impressed with the CV of any other candidate.
Some people have popped up the name of the current vice president.
But he has not shown interest.
He hasn't. He has not declared. And
that's the issue we have. But as far as intellectual candidate is concerned, I think, of course, he stands tall. There's no doubt. Every time he has gone to represent the country, he has, shown, he's given a good account of himself. So I think there's no doubt in his capacity as far as the candidacy is concerned, if he eventually throws in the towel to, of course, vie for the office.
Okay, and talking about challenges now, let's look out. Something happened on Tuesday in Ebonyi State. A court sacked the sitting governor of Ebonyi State, Governor Rev'd, on the grounds that the votes, on the grounds of defection, that he won, that it was the PDP that won the election, not Rev'd, as he claimed to be. And looking at that judgment, if that judgment stands up to the Supreme Court, what does it speak for the APC and democracy at large in Nigeria?
It's actually difficult for me to really comment on it, not for too many reasons, but for the fact that it's a very technical, legal issue, and I'm not a lawyer, so
okay.
To a great extent, I won't be able to comment on it legally. But based on the previous judgments that has been given, it's I think it's a test on our legal system, and it's going to sort of push the parliament to actually review the law, the constitution, as far as that regard is concerned, to actually get it right. And it's good to be honest. Anything that would test, because at the end of the day, the idea behind any system, any process, is to continue to improve it to the best, level it can be, so that everybody is can see justice being served. But as far as the legality is concerned, I don't know.
Okay,
it's difficult to
okay. Some people even
comment on
argued that that law that was that used to set aside the judgment is still under the first reading. But I listened to a lawyer. He made reference to Section 68 of the Constitution. But in that Section 68, he specifically mentioned the members of the House of Assembly. Okay, like you said, you're not a lawyer. And looking at that judgment, no matter the outcome, what does it tell about our democracy?
Well, I've listened to the what's it called, the legal part of the constitution that was applied by the said jury, and it was stated that it's applicable to members of the parliament only, and the fact is that by law, the governor can only be, taken off his office by either he's deceased, he's impeached, or he resigns himself. And I think the technicality of the law is the fact that where it applies to the the members of the parliament, can it be extended to and then that's where of course the learned people, as a lawyer, the lawyers can actually debate and interpret the law, as it were. But as far as I think what caught my interest more is the idea of who the people vote for, and it also, like I said, it's a test of our legal system, and it's interesting that the kind of parties, the kind of politics we run is a party politics, but there is no way you can guarantee that people that vote for candidates or that vote at elections vote for the party and not the candidates, or vote for the candidates and not the party. It's difficult to establish that, especially because it's not. Yes, you can say for members of the party, they will only vote their own party. But in an election, a general election, everybody, even non-party members, cast their vote, and they may cast their vote for somebody even though it's in a political party they don't like. So on that ground, it makes what's it called, that law ineffective, because it would be wrong for you to unseat a governor on the basis that the vote was cast for the party, and it's even wrong. It's wrong that we are trying to establish political officers through tribunal, when the election is actually the right place to empower any officer politically. It's wrong. It's a question on our democracy, and I think it's the more reason why we should have a parliament that thoroughly look through this constitution and come out with the most realistic position as far as the legal standing is concerned.
You made a valid point now, and let me take it from there. Look, talking about judiciary installing, or in fact having a say in the electoral system when we have the electoral umpire. Remember the Bayelsa State governor? He came to office as a matter of Supreme Court judgment. The Imo State governor, and in fact many of our elections have been won through the court or have been upheld after INEC has made a declaration of result. And looking at the kind of democracy we practice, do you believe, is it not time that we work out things? And since we say the INEC is independent, they should be independent and be the decider for our elections.
Of course, and that is why there was so much push for the Electoral Act to be passed, because the major reason why, in fairness to those, even though I don't agree with the deciding election through tribunals, the major reason why a lot of these politicians seek redress is they perceive injustice in the electoral process. And that is why more and more there is push to amend the Electoral Act to the reality of what we have on ground. And I think the onus is on INEC to make it very, very clear to every Nigerians that their ability to conduct a free, fair, and credible election is without doubt. Because as long as there is perceived injustice, there will always be the need to seek redress for the candidates. And I think the fact that the fact that it's a two sides. On one side we have the electoral umpire, and on the other side we have the tribunals, the judges, and it's something we have to deal with as a country. The reality that there is a perceived corruption on every level. For instance, it is believed that the judgment can be bought, which is why there is, of course, we saw the way the governor of Ebonyi dismissed the judgment because of that perception. And as far as the election itself is concerned, the reason why a lot of politicians also take their case to the court is because they believe that INEC is not being sincere, it's not being fair. And so I think it is a child on the two, government parastatals, the INEC and the judicial system, to redress the whole system, to make sure that they correct whatever defect is within their separate system, and give people the real conviction that yes, they are actually going to stand by their integrity, they are going to stand by their code of conduct and do the right thing as far as what is expected of them is concerned, because they hold so much stake in setting the country on the right path. And so far so good, they've not gave a good account of themselves, there is no doubt. That's why there is so much of course issues here and there, but they have the chance. And I think going forward they can take that responsibility, they can take the challenge to actually set things right on their own sides, and give Nigerians a real sense that we are really on the path to progress, because there is so much instability in Africa, and that is because Nigeria, which is the largest economy in Africa, hasn't gotten it right. But by the time Nigeria is able to get it right, of course we saw during Obasanjo's regime how he was able to coordinate activities within the sub-region, talking about the activities of ECOMOG and of course African Union at the time. It shows what it means when Nigeria has a leadership that can actually hold its place in the Committee of Nations. And all these borders on the various institutions getting it right in terms of what their role is.
Okay. Now, talking about getting it right, let's look at the APC. Let's go back to the National Convention coming up on 26th of March. I listened to Governor El-Rufai yesterday, and he said so much. He said a lot. It's like they want to get it right, because it seems that the presidency has been zoned to the south, according to him. He was not being specific, but looking at the settings, the way the national chairmanship and positions in the party, it seems that they've moved it to the south. Now, sometime last year, the governors of the south, they met in Lagos. They met many times, and they talked about if any party that didn't zone their presidential candidate to the south, In fact, that party has automatically lost out. Now, looking at what is happening, do you think that that will come up in the 26th of March? And talking about the party trying to achieve consensus, do you think that by 26th of March, that, in fact, I'm trying to paint a picture. What picture do you think we will see by that time coming from the ruling APC?
I think the move is basically to correct the impression that Nigerians have right now of the ruling party, that they don't really care about the southern region, and that is why there is there is a consensus to zone the presidency to the south. But that is not the issue. That's the reality. That's not the issue. But unfortunately, that is where the current administration has left us. We are entangled in a major crisis that there is no other option than to just, throw in the towel and say, well, this is the case at the moment, and that is what we have to work with. And I think it also helps the party anyway, because they've now streamlined what their focus is, and I think it's helped them to order their activities such that they've settled. So whichever, what's it called? It's now for the northern region to be vying for the for the chairmanship of the party and other offices within the party that is open to them, while the rest of the southern region can put their best foot forward as far as the presidency and other national electoral offices are concerned. But it's now left for them to sort themselves within the party. And I just hope that in the interest of the entire country, the southern region, as it's as allegedly zoned to the south, can bring the best candidates forward as far as the primaries of the APC is concerned. Well, all of those will be established in the convention that is scheduled for, if barring whatever contingency, because there was a report that there are certain elements within the party that wants to disrupt that process and stall the convention from happening that day. I think
they have obtained a court order already.
I think significantly, it's left for the party to show Nigerians that they can coordinate themselves, because there is no reason why Nigerians should be able to trust you with the affairs of the whole country if within your own party you cannot coordinate your activities and set the clear path for yourself as far as how you want your party to be run. So it's a very, very important signal for Nigerians, and I think it's good if Nigerians are following the development within the APC, because essentially, because they are the ruling party, they set the tone for the rest of the parties. Of course, if they don't do it right, it's an advantage for the other parties to actually get things right and send the right message to the Nigerian people that your incumbent political party is not doing things right, and you've seen how we've coordinated ourselves, and we are better ready to set and run the affairs of Nigeria and take Nigeria to the level that we desire the country to be.
Okay, before that Monday, my Malambuni has been the caretaker committee chairman of the party. Looking at his regime after they ousted the former governor of Edo State, Adams Oshomole, how would you rate the performance of my Malambuni within that frame of time he's been the chairman of the APC?
Well, going by the reports that were coming out from the APC, I think throughout his tenure, I don't think all was well with the party, because almost every time we hear of crisis, say it's the clash of interest, conflict of interest, and I don't think he handled it well at all. The perception from the rest of the interested parties, talking about the states and other regions, I don't think it's positive. Even members of his party are critical of him, and of course there will be interest that we're backing him because he's pally with them. So,
but a lot of people said that they joined the APC. Remember, there was a lot of movements, cross-carpeting. A lot of them said they joined the APC because of the leadership qualities of Maima Lamboni.
Well, that is without doubt, and I guess a lot of such people are probably having their own interests also. And of course, and that's the problem we have in our politics. The fact that people are there for their individual interests and not the interest of the country. And as such, when you have such people, you have so many crises within a party, because they will be pushing their interests ahead. And ideally for any political party, you should have a long-term plan, a long-term manifesto of how you want to run both your party and the country. That's what shows that you are serious as a political party, and that's what ideology is about. But I don't think it's been the case as far as APC is concerned. And the fact that, like I said earlier, some people joined the party because of him, and of course, it's because of their interest. They will be pushing their interest to the party, and in most cases, they may even be derailing the foundational purpose of the party, because they are bringing their interest outside. They may bring in their interest outside of what the party, had been set for from the beginning. And of course, such thing will create conflict and crisis within any system. And well, I guess on the back of that, I can understand why Buni was removed.
Okay, looking at the personality of the governor of Niger State, Sani Bello, where do they head from here? In fact, what's the future of the APC before the March 26th National Convention?
Well, I don't think we have to take much from the personality of Bello, because his whole assignment is to see that the convention, this is a convention that will determine the eventual chairman. He's just a caretaker chairman for the party. Unfortunately for us, we outside of Lagos State, we don't really hear much positive about the leadership of most of these other states, other than the fact that most northern states are rife in banditry and kidnapping and terrorism and all. And I think Niger State has been one of the most affected recently as far as banditry is concerned. And I don't think I've been convinced with the manner in which Governor Bello has handled banditry in his state. So I don't think I would want to take that up as an insight to what he can do, because handling the state to a great extent may be different from handling or coordinating the activities of your party to just set up an election, appoint or elect your officers, and go back to running your state. So I don't think to a great extent it's going to hold much water as far as his capacity to deliver on the mandate that the party has given him is concerned. So I think we can only wait for to see what the convention brings as far as the leadership of the party and the primaries of the party is concerned going forward.
And before we go, do you think that President Muhammadu Buhari will have a candidate, an anointed candidate per se, in the Nigerian perspective, do you think that the person of President Muhammadu Buhari can have an anointed candidate after the convention as an aspirant in the presidential election?
It will only be an irresponsible leader that will not have somebody is keen on taking it. It's just natural. You want somebody to build on you, that you trust, to come in and continue, build on what you have started. So it's only understandable that he will have an interested candidate. And for him to have said that he doesn't want to say anything on it, because if he says, then such candidate can be under attack. So it's a signal that he's sending. He clearly has somebody, he's interested in. And I think the onus is on him to make sure, beyond the interest of his party, beyond his own interest, in the interest of the whole country, he sets the process up to see that the best candidate that will come and rescue, because Nigeria needs a rescue operation at this time. The crisis is heavy, and I think, going by what he himself said, that he wish he was younger. I think that's a statement that every Nigerian should take serious, as far as the coming election is concerned. That you need a president that is as agile as possible, that is virile, and as far as intellect is concerned, is up there, because we've been set back so much by not that he intends to bring Nigeria to where it is right now, but that is the reality, that you can't give what you don't have. And I think the onus should be on him to make sure that the process is well set up, such that the person that will come and rescue the country would have the level playing ground and probably advantage to get the office and set Nigeria on the right path again.
Okay, we hope we can set Nigeria on the right path in 2023. And yes, that's where we'll draw the curtains on today's edition of the program State of the Nation. Thank you, Oluwatobi, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
And we hope to see you when next we call on you.
I look forward to it.
And yes, thank you out there for listening to the program. It comes your way every Thursday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And thank you very much for listening and being with us. And thank you to our producer, Olumakaiye Ajadi. And from me, Anosike Chimezie, till Thursday, do have a lovely day.
This is Lagoon Radio.